Hi little caterpillars, it's Mary again. I miss you and I can't wait to see you soon. Our garden's looking lovely and I can't wait for you to sample all the goodies to eat in there. This book is kind of along the same lines. It's all about a garden, so here we go. It's one of my favorites, Scarlet Beane. All the vegetables in her yard. All right, here we go. Scarlet Beane. When Mrs. Beane first saw her daughter's face, it was red as a beetroot, and the ends of her fingers were green. "I shall call her Scarlet," declared Mrs. Beane. "She will grow tall and strong and do something wonderful." Mr. and Mrs. Beane lived in a house that looked like a garden shed. It was cozy and made of wood, but it was very small, so they worked outside as much as they could. Scarlet laid in her pram and listened to the flowers grow, and when she slept, she dreamed of doing something wonderful. On her birthday, Grandfather Beane gave Scarlet a vegetable garden. Her father built a wooden fence to keep out rabbits. Her mother gave her a set of tools with wooden handles, and he made a white gate Scarlet could open herself. Scarlet loved her new garden. She pulled up the weeds. She dug the soil until it was crumbly like chocolate cake. She planted a row of carrots, a row of onions, and a row of parsley. That night when she went to bed, the ends of her fingers glowed like green lights. The next morning, Scarlet ran to her garden. Her carrots were huge as tree trunks. Her onions were as big as hot air balloons, and her parsley was thick as a jungle. Everyone in the village came to help. They used bulldozers to dig the carrots. They cut the parsley with chainsaws. They drove forklift trucks to carry the onions. Mrs. Beane's kitchen was too small for so many vegetables, so she made a soup in a concrete mixer. The house was too small for so many people, so Mr. Beane served the soup in the garden. Everyone said it was the best soup ever, and when it began to rain, they ate the second helpings underneath the table. That night, Scarlet Beane dreamed of something wonderful. She crept out of bed. In one hand, she held a small trowel, and in the other, she had lots and lots of seeds. High above the meadow, the moon hung like a pearl in the sky. Scarlet dug a hole and put the seeds at the bottom. She covered them with earth, and the ends of her fingers flashed like green stars. The next morning, the sun rose like the huge gold coin, and in the middle of the meadow was a castle made of vegetables. It had turnip turrets, a drawbridge held up by corn cobs, a cucumber tower stood at each corner. Mr. Beane couldn't believe his eyes. It was the house of all his dreams. Mrs. Beane kissed her daughter's face. "I knew you'd do something wonderful," she whispered. Scarlet Beane was so happy she went red as a beetroot, and the ends of her fingers sparkled like fireworks. There they are. Happy ever after. Thanks for listening, friends. See you soon.